movie review. This is Whistle Down the Wind, released in 1962, based on a novel by Mary Hayley Bell, adapted for the screen by Willie Hall and Keith Waterhouse. It's directed by Brian Forbes and produced by Richard Attenborough, and it stars in the lead role Hayley Mills as Kathy. First role in a feature film for Alan Bates, who plays the man. Bernard Lee plays the father, Mr. Bostock. And then we have Diane Holgate, who plays Kathy's younger sister, Nan. And Alan Barnes, who plays Kathy's little brother, Charlie. Also, Elsie Wagstaff plays Aunt Dorothy. And the Eddie, who works for the Bostock family at the farm, is played by Norman Bird. Now, Whistle Down the Wind, very much an English film, and it didn't really get very far internationally, but the BAFTA did reward it with nominations for Hayley Mills as Best Actress, Brian Forbes for Best Film, and Keith Waterhouse and Willis Hall for Best Screenplay. And so it's a film of note. The three children, as I say, live in a little rural setting, a farm, and we meet them following a man who actually works at that farm, and he's carrying a sort of knapsack, and they are monitoring his movements without being seen, and they reach a point where he is walking in the rural setting, walking back to the farm, and there's some shallow water, and he throws the knapsack into the water, and the kids retrieve it quickly and find 3 kittens in the knapsack, and they take ownership of 1 each, and this sort of sets up the sort of type of movie it is. 3 very appealing young children, a propensity to be a little naughty, but very pleasant and amenable, and attractive personalities. The children are then seen in town where there's a Salvation Army lecture going on for a young woman. The children stop with inquisitiveness, and the little boy who's about 6, offers her one of the kittens, which she cleverly sidesteps, and although he continues to try to get her to take care of this kitten, there's a suggestion as part of the religious feel of the movie that Jesus will take care of the young cat. As I say, it's set in the north of England, on location in Burnley and Clitheroe, and many of the children were from that area, the extras, and it presents with a sort of picture of harmless mischief as these children go about their fun-loving childhood. Kathy is, of course, the elder, and so tends to dominate. And the topic of belief in Jesus is commonplace, and what then happens is that in the evening, Kathy makes an excuse that she wants to go to the outside lavatory, but basically she wants to go to the barn where they've left the 3 kittens, and so she smuggles her way down there, and she then is shell-shocked to find a man lying there, and he wakes, and in response to her question, "What's your name?" in a very sort of working class northern accent, Bates replies in shock, "Jesus Christ." the youngster takes this literally and then returns home and tells her younger sister about the happenings, and we have a short debate about the impact of Jesus Christ returning to reside in their barn. It then brings out the impact that the teaching of Christianity was very much at the forefront in schools at that time, after the war, and at that time, and even up to the time when I started school, 62. I'd have been 8 years of age, and I can identify very much with the message that was being force-fed on children about believing in Christ, and the girls take on board this arrival of this man in the barn, and their imagination and ability to create a fable in their imagery becomes a mystery for them, and they then agreed to keep it a secret and start to smuggle food and wine to the man in the barn. Kathy has a cunning edge to her personality, and easily evades the farm worker at the barn so she can deliver the sustenance. And we then get a number of chats between the girls about the whether Jesus would come back, and it's the boy joins them as well, and there's lots of discussions about it. Into class now, and Kathy takes the opportunity of a Q&A that the young teacher wants to enable, and asks her about what would happen if Jesus came back to the earth, and we get a perspective by the teacher of various vague answers to an array of questions, but thus maintaining the belief system that Jesus did exist, and that's where we got to. The curiosity and naivety from these children project this secret desire to help the man, complete trust, free of sort of prejudice like adults, like the adults that we actually witness in the movie. They're very controlling, these adults, whether they be strict teachers or religious leaders, or to an extent parents. The children have that freeness, that sort of untouched, unblemished parts of their personality, which allows them to be genuine, to want. And this is the message that I feel this film was communicating. The children are the stars, and particularly, of course, Mills, whose pedigree from a family of actors. Her father, John, regarded as one of the great British actors of all time. And then what happens is that the secret is leaked by Charlie, the little boy, and the whole class and large groups of children are now aware of this character in the barn who they believe to be Jesus Christ. So when Kathy strikes out towards the barn with the brother and sister, there's an entourage following her, and she then has to act as a sort of leader, and she needs to create an agreement with the children about secrecy if they are to get a glimpse of this man. It's all awfully well done, and indicates the ability of a young child to be able to control a group. And then there are gifts given. 2 gifts are given by members of this group. Firstly, a charm bracelet, and then another child bows down and kneels and gives the man the Bible, and he says, "It's your book." And I smirked when I heard this, and it's so touching and so sweet, this innocence. And then they asked the man to share them a story. Of course, Jesus Christ was renowned for his ability to tell stories, tales, or call them what you will. And the man reluctantly agrees to, but he steps aside from reading the Bible and picks up a newspaper and reads an article in the paper about a hair hostess. It's all rather amusing, it has to be said. And then we move on to the last part of this scene, when he asks Kathy, "Why are you helping me?" And he's sort of struggling really to come to grips with this generosity and care. And she just responds, "We love you." Plot thickens then, and we witness an incident in the school playground where a bully wants to find out what's going on. He's basically out of the loop, and all these children have this secret, and he tries to get it out of various innocent children, smaller than themselves, but they keep their lips tight, and eventually Kathy confronts him, and he slaps her, but she wins out with her stare, which communicates buckets loads of valour, really. She is certainly a young girl who isn't going to be pushed around by some hardhead. And then an incident at the barn, Charlie finds out that his kitten has died and asks the man, played by Bates, why didn't he save the kitten. The kitten's smothered basically by a straw that's placed on top of him. And the man gives some sort of vague excuse that he's too busy to have noticed. And this shatters Charlie's dream of Jesus Christ. And this is compounded further when he asks the local vicar about why Jesus saves some and not others. And the vicar, rather thrown by this question, gives some vague religious answer, which is all real rubbish. And we move on. We find out that the man is in fact wanted for a murder, and he then asks Kathy to get a parcel that he's hidden near the viaduct, I think, and upon him getting it, unfortunately she's spotted by a couple of people, police I believe, and he then gets his box and unearths a pistol, and it's clear that she's got to be really careful now. Then Charlie spills the beans at his birthday party about the fact that the man isn't JC at all, but just a man. This follows Nan trying to steal food for him again, and so the cat is out of the bag, so to speak. What then takes place is Kathy's undying sort of affection for the man, and she tries to assist him as the police close in, and we get to an inevitable conclusion where the barn's surrounded, and eventually the man gives himself up. But what I loved about this movie was the innocence of the children. The message that we should all remember is that children, although they may well be naive, they are also free of prejudice. They're free of bad experiences a large part, and that they're more than willing to give even alleged murderers a chance, a reasonable opportunity to show their goodness. And I think that's the message in the film. But the star of the show is definitely Hayley Mills. For a young girl, probably about 14 years of age when she made this movie, she just glows, and she constantly reminds you of what a talent she was then and what she later became. So I'd suggest you get to watch this